What's up, Rich Squad? Good morning, my peoples. Guys, I'm on my way to work right now. I think I'm kind of running late today, but I still want to get this video in because I want to talk about which countries had the worst or the most disappointing World Cup qualifiers campaign. All right, let me get out of this parking spot. But guys, good morning. Good afternoon, good night to wherever you are in the world right now as we speak. I know the World Cup qualifiers are over, but guess what? We got to talk about them. We got to analyze them. We got to talk about which teams were the most disappointing throughout the World Cup qualifiers campaign. And first of all the teams that made it to 2014 Brazil and didn't make it to 2018 Russia. Come on, you guys of course had the most disappointing World Cup qualifiers campaign. Let's start with you guys. Someone go ahead and research and put all those teams in the comment section below. I know someone is gonna do it. Let me know those teams in the comment section down below. I know a few of them, but I don't know all of them off the top of my head. But guys, let's start with the first of the 6 confederation. Let's start with Oceania, the OFC. First of all, they need to organize some kind of professional league in the OFC. Maybe one professional team from each of the OFC nation, or maybe have like a franchise-based system over there. You know, somebody need to invest some money into the football. Maybe have, you know, an OFC Super League or something, you know. You have 2 teams from New Zealand. You'll have 1 team from Papua New Guinea, a team from Solomon Islands, a team from New Caledonia, a team from Fiji, you know. And these teams would maybe meet up and play tournaments, you know what I'm saying? Play a little franchise tournament. Something like that can work to help find new talent within the OFC. Their best team, New Zealand, they didn't qualify. They had a 0.5 place. So they didn't qualify. They lost their match, their tie versus Peru. They didn't play too bad. They only lost 2-0, but New Zealand does not have a professional football league system. So there you go. Disappointing OFC right off the bat. Let's move on to the AFC. Let's say the most disappointing teams, I must say, you gotta give it to China. Gotta give it to China. Gotta give it to India. 1 billion people. How could you have 1 billion people and cannot put together a world-class football team? How is it possible? 1 billion? 1 billion. Yes, 1 billion. And Iceland have 300 and maybe, let's say 350,000 people. 350,000. You know, that's like twice the population of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they are in the World Cup. Like, it's ridiculous. So the most disappointing campaign for the AFC, I gotta give it to China and India for having 1 billion people each and cannot muster up a proper football team. What do you guys think? Let me know your teams down below. Let's move on to Europe. UEFA Confederation. Netherlands. You think of Netherlands, very disappointing, man. Very disappointing. Did so well in the 2010 World Cup. They were in the finals. 2014 World Cup, they were in the semifinals. 2018, out. Disappointing. I'm not gonna. The talent that they have is just tremendous. So many talented players didn't make it. We can talk about Italy. Italy, they were the last of the giants to miss out on the World Cup, and disappointing. Gianpiero Ventura, the worst coach in Italian history, arguably. Italy does not qualify for the World Cup in Russia next summer. The talent pool that they have is just tremendous. And if you can select the right players, obviously you will fail. They won the World Cup in 2006, got knocked out in the group stage 2010, got knocked out in the group stage in 2014, and they have plummeted all the way out of 2018 World Cup. So that's Netherlands, Italy. And I gotta say, the teams from around the Great Britain area, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and you have to throw the Republic of Ireland in there. I know they are not a Great Britain nation, so nobody correct me and say anything. They are not from Great Britain, but they were all disappointing. None of them made it to the World Cup. At least one of them should have. You know, they were disappointing. The other teams who didn't qualify from Europe, well, you know, you couldn't expect much better from most of these teams. You gotta throw Turkey in there. Like Turkey, terrible, man, terrible. I think they came third in one of these World Cups. I don't know if it was 2003. No, I think it was 2006 they placed third. 2006, they had a really good team, man. They had a really, really good team. Can't remember some of the players, but they had a really good team. You could even throw Greece in there too. But let's move on to Africa. African qualification is always tough. Always tough. But right off the bat, Ivory Coast, man. Disappointing. Disappointing. Mark Wilmots and his team, disappointing. So much talent, and it's just too top heavy. How can you can't fit Doumbia, Boni, Gervinho, Solomon Kalou, Kessié, who else? You can't fit them in the team. You can't fit them in the team, man. It's too many of them. You know, they need to push aside their egos and say, okay, I'm setting up a proper formation. You can't play, you can't play, you can't play, because there's only 2 spots up front, and I need guys in specialized position to take those spots, and that's the only way the team is gonna move forward. You can't have players playing out of position. Like, these players don't play in those positions for the various clubs, and they're strikers, they're strikers. You have them playing over there on the wing, they're not wingers. They're not really wingers. You know, so it must create some kind of conflict in the team, especially when they're on the field. So Ivory Coast, Ghana, you know, I don't know where their talent have gone to. Like, it seems like it just disappeared. You gotta say Cameroon, AFCON 2017 winners, didn't make it. The World Cup qualifying campaign wasn't so disappointing, though. I must say that. But they should have qualified for the World Cup. You gotta put South Africa in there. South Africa, they have one of the best domestic leagues in Africa and just couldn't make the cut. I think they only won 1 game and drew the other. And they lost 4 games, 2 from Senegal and 2 from Cape Verde. So South Africa, disappointing World Cup qualifiers campaign. So I must say, guys, you have any more teams? Let me know in the comment section down below. We're gonna move on to South America. Even the Argentina made the World Cup. They are the only team I'm gonna throw in here who had a disappointing campaign and actually made the World Cup. They almost didn't make it. If it wasn't for Messi's magical touch, scoring a hat-trick in that last game, they would not have qualified for this World Cup. They wouldn't have qualified, and this is his last chance to show that he's, you know, the greatest ever who have kicked the football for Argentina to win the World Cup, because they were just horrible during qualifiers, you know, horrible. I think Messi's the only one who scored goals for Argentina throughout the whole qualifiers campaign, like for this year. You know, so it's just terrible, man. They need to get their act together. They need to get their act together, and, you know, definitely, or they're gonna suffer at the World Cup. Chile, biggest team from South Africa to miss out for 2018. Russia, Terrible, man. Alexis Sanchez, Arturo Vidal, Eduardo Vargas. You have Claudio Bravo. There's so many good guys in that team, and they just couldn't muster up the proper performances, and they missed out on Russia 2018. What a miss. What a miss it would be. No Chile in the World Cup. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So that's all from South America. What are your other teams from South America? It's not a lot of teams, but who are you disappointed with? Let me know in the comment section down below. And last but not least, guys, Concacaf. Concacaf. Biggest disappointment in Concacaf, of course, it's the USA. It's the USA. I'm not going to go on and say too much about this, but they need to change their whole structure. They need to change their whole system. They need to change the way they do things, or else they're going to miss out on 2022. Also, for real, we won't see them back in it until 2026, where they might be the host, but if they continue the way they are, man, they are playing, and the way the league is structured and everything, it's a wrap for the USA. It's a wrap. They lost their last match to Trinidad and Tobago, and they had no game plan going into that game. They just say, okay, we're playing Trinidad and Tobago. That's a W. You know, forget it. We're into the World Cup. I already had USA in the World Cup. Everybody had them in the World Cup. But that last qualifying day, oh my God, it was just chaos. It was just doomsday. And, you know, it was Armageddon for the USA team. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. You know, I was trembling, I'm telling you, making that reaction video. It was a day to remember. It was a day we won't forget. But the next disappointment for CONCACAF is the Caribbean teams, man. All the Caribbean teams, disappointing. Disappointing. They need to organize some kind of Caribbean Super League or something, franchise-based. It can work. They do it in cricket. It can work in football, and that's where you're going to see a lot of talent come through for the various teams. They need to do something about it. They need to do something about it, and they need to do something very soon, or else we're going to keep seeing no Caribbean teams qualifying from CONCACAF. They need to make some changes, and it has to happen now. It has to happen in the near future, or else, you know, Caribbean teams are going to continue to suffer in tournaments. Jamaica, where are you? You should be at the World Cup. Trinidad and Tobago, you should be in this World Cup. You know, talk about teams like St. Vincent and the Grenadines who promised, who made it, who almost, not almost, they could have made it to the Hex if they had more professional players, but they don't. They don't. They are at a disadvantage. But guys, let me know all the disappointing teams from the World Cup Qualifiers campaign. Who had the worst World Cup Qualifiers campaign for the 2018 World Cup? Talk to me in the comment section down below. I'm about to head to work. I gotta catch this bus. I park in a parking lot, then I catch a bus, and then I go to work. But guys, that's all I have for now. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Smash the thumbs up button. Talk to me down below. I will get to all your comments eventually. Guys, I'm trying to have a balance between, you know, making videos, spending enough time doing other things, you know, balance everything out. You know, I have work, I have, you know, kids, I have, you know, so sometimes I want to make a lot of videos, but I just can't get to them right away because of, you know, I gotta live my life, man. I gotta live my life. But guys, until next time, I would like to say thank you again and peace out. Rich Squad! That's one of my favorite parts of the video.